Hey everyone, sorry to take up too much of your time before I get started with today's story, but today is a very special episode. Today, August 9th, 2023, my best friend since high school, Matthew Moore, passed away. If you know Matt, you know what he meant to those who loved him. Matt could be tough, harsh, no nonsense, and aggressive, but when he loved you. When my grandpa died in 2015, Matt and I had probably been out of contact for a couple of years. When I called him to tell him, he asked me what city I was living in and what city my grandpa was in at the time. After I told him, still on the phone, I got an email. Matt had used his frequent flyer miles, which he was very meticulous about earning and hoarding, to book me a first-class flight from Washington to New York and back so that I could be there to say goodbye to my grandpa. No questions. I never asked him. He was just that kind of friend. So it's hard for me to picture a world where he's not a text message away. And most of you don't care, I'm sure. But when Matt and I were growing up, we shared our interests, as most friends do. I was incredibly lucky that Matt shared interests like Terry Pratchett and Anne McCaffrey. Those days are one of the roots to what has brought me to doing this show. So in honor of my dear friend, my lifetime confidant, my literal brother from another mother, today I bring you a very, very poignant short story from Matt's very favorite author. This is Death and What Comes Next by Terry Pratchett. Stay a while and listen. When Death met the philosopher said rather excitedly, "At this point you realize I'm both dead and not dead." There was a sigh from Death. "Oh dear, one of these," he thought. "This is going to be about quantum again." He hated dealing with philosophers. They always tried to wriggle out of it. "You see," said the philosopher, while Death, motionless, watched the sands of his life drain through the hourglass, "everything is made of tiny particles, which have the strange property of being in many places at one time. But things made of tiny particles tend to stay in one place at one time, which does not seem right according to quantum theory. May I continue?" "Yes, but not indefinitely," said Death. "Everything is transient." He did not take his gaze away from the tumbling sand. "Well then, if we agreed that there are an infinite number of universes, then the problem is solved. If there are an unlimited number of universes, this bed can be in millions of them at the same time. Does it move?" "What?" Death nodded at the bed. "Can you feel it moving?" "No, because there are a million versions of me, too. And here's the good bit. In some of them, I am not about to pass away. Anything is possible." Death tapped the handle of his scythe as he considered this. "And your point is?" "Well, I'm not exactly dying, correct? You are no longer such a certainty." There was a sigh from Death. Space, he thought. That was the trouble. It was never like this on worlds with everlastingly cloudy skies. But once humans saw all that space, their brains expanded to try and fill it up. "No answer, eh?" said the dying philosopher. "Feel a bit old-fashioned, do we?" "This is a conundrum, certainly," said Death. Once they prayed, he thought. Mind you, he'd never been sure what prayer worked either. He thought for a while. "And I shall answer it in this manner," he added. "You love your wife?" "What?" "The lady who has been looking after you. You love her?" "Yes, of course." "Can you think of any circumstances where, without your personal history changing in any way, you would at this moment pick up a knife and stab her?" said Death. "For example?" "Certainly not." "But your theory says that you must. It is easily possible within the physical laws of the universe, and therefore must happen, and happen many times. Every moment is a billion moments. And in those moments, all things that are possible are inevitable. All time, sooner or later, boils down to a moment." But of course, we can make choices in between. Are there choices?" Everything that can happen must happen. Your theory says that for every universe that's formed to accommodate your no, there must be one to accommodate your yes. But you said you would never commit murder. The fabric of the cosmos trembles before your terrible certainty. Your morality becomes a force as strong as gravity. And, thought Death, space certainly has a lot to answer for. Was that sarcasm? Actually, no. I am impressed and intrigued, said Death. The concept you put before me proves the existence of two hitherto mythical places. Somewhere, there is a world where everyone made the right choice, the moral choice, the choice that maximized the happiness of their fellow creatures, of course. That also means that somewhere else is the smoking remnant of the world where they did not. Oh, come on, I know what you're implying, and I've never believed in any of that heaven and hell nonsense. The room grew darker. A blue gleam along the edge of the Reaper's scythe was becoming more obvious. Astonishing, said Death. Really astonishing. Let me put forward another suggestion. That you are nothing more than a lucky species of ape that is trying to understand the complexities of creation via a language that evolved in order to tell one another where the ripe fruit was? Fighting for breath, the philosopher managed to say, Don't be silly. The remark was not intended as derogatory, said Death. Under the circumstances, you have achieved a great deal. We've certainly escaped from outmoded superstitions. Well done, said Death. That's the spirit. I just wanted to check. He leaned forward. And are you aware of the theory that the state of some tiny particles is indeterminate until the moment they are observed? A cat in a box is often mentioned. Oh yes, said the philosopher. Good, said Death. He got to his feet as the last of the light died and smiled. I see you. Normally, this is where I ask you to like and follow, but not today. Today I ask that you text someone you love, who you haven't heard from in a while. Someone you can't bear to lose, even if you haven't spoken in years. Don't wake up one morning and find out that someone you treasure will never again hear you tell them that you love them, and that you can't remember the last time that you did. Text that old friend, sister, brother, cousin. Tell them you're happy they're still alive. Because I would give anything in this world for one last chat with Matt. I love you, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.